the Eagles are showing interest in veteran running back Carlos Hyde. Is he a fit in Philly? What can he bring to this Eagles offense? All right, y'all. Stay tuned. Let's talk about Carlos Hyde. Some of you guys love this idea, and judging from some of the comments on other content creators' videos, some of you are really not in favor of this move. All right, y'all. Let's dive into it.
There's Hyde. And Hyde.
What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Stephen Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this, guys. Once again, Stephen Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. All right, y'all, today's topic. Look, today we're going to talk about this report, the reports that are circulating saying the Philadelphia Eagles apparently have interest in signing veteran running back Carlos Hyde. Now, I don't know how much weight to put into rumors about things like that. Sometimes, man, these things are very misleading. Sometimes it's the agents putting it out. Look, I don't know how much to believe of that stuff, guys. I always kind of wait and see until I can honestly see that there's been actual communication between the two parties to really feel confident in projecting that I think any player is going to sign with Philadelphia. With that said, look, we got to look at the fact that if you look at the Eagles running back room, in terms of the proven commodities, okay, I don't think we have a proven commodity at that contact bounce, one gap runner type level here yet. We got a couple of prospects that definitely the fan base likes, and from what I understand, the Eagles are at least high on one of those players. So a one cut runner, guys, is a fancy way of saying plays between the tackles, guys, okay? I know the Eagles seem to be fairly high on Elijah Holyfield, but it also seems like the Eagles might still be kind of concerned, and that's why we're getting these rumors about Carlos Hyde possibly being brought in to Philadelphia. All right, y'all. Without further ado, guys, let's break down some film. Let's talk about Carlos Hyde. Let's talk about these rumors, y'all. All right, y'all. Let's get into it.
Pressure off the edge. They run against it, and Hyde gets free.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about positional alignment. And what in the world am I talking about when I say something like a one-gap running back? A one-gap running back is essentially nothing more than just talking about a guy that plants his feet, has good patience, plants his feet, is very decisive, and doesn't make multiple cuts, doesn't dance in the backfield, gets through, sees that gap, and runs through the gap. Primarily speaking, one-gap running backs will challenge on the left side of the field, the 1 and 3 holes, and on the right side of the offensive line, the 2 and 4 holes. Your 5-hole guys is outside your left tackle, and then your 6-hole would also be kind of outside of your right tackle. Then you got your 7-hole, which would be outside the tight end on the left side of the formation, the 8-hole being on the right side of the formation outside of the tight end, guys. So when I talk about a one-gap runner, I'm talking about a guy that will, generally speaking, utilize the 1, 3, 2, and 4 holes to run. Not saying he won't bounce it outside every now and then, but that is primarily where they make their bread and butter, if you will, make their money. That's how they add values to a team. Now, as I analyze the Eagles roster, I see 3 candidates for this, right? No mystery. One of them is Elijah Holyfield, the former Georgia Bulldog. I do have a film session coming up with about Elijah Holyfield, guys. But with that said, guys, I haven't got into an in-depth study of Elijah Holyfield yet. This is someone I know that the Eagles are high on. But with that said, when you got a veteran presence coming in, guys, you got to take notice of that. And I'm not saying that's happening yet. The other gentleman we have that would be counted towards what I would call a one-gap runner would be none other than Michael Warren. Michael Warren coming out of the University of Cincinnati, I believe. Definitely a little bit of film I've seen of this kid. He's definitely a one-gap runner. I know there's some of you guys that are really high on Michael Warren. I promise you I have a video coming of this young man too. But with that said, guys, keep in mind, listen, you're talking about an established guy who can play a pivotal role for your football team and can complement your offense. The reason, in my opinion, the one-gap runner is so important for the Philadelphia Eagles is the way we've built this offense to punish teams now with all the speed we have, right? We need closers in games. People who can help us put the game away, okay? I do think that if you want to make an argument that Miles Sanders can be that guy, okay, he's short of stature, but he's built like a bowling ball. 5'6", 200-some pounds, right? 203. He's built like a bowling ball. He's got a little bit more weight behind his pads than people think. I get it. But I do think that not Miles Sanders, guys. I do think that Boston Scott is better suited to play more of the kind of scat back role than he is to play a one gap role. Although I have seen on film the ability of him to play the one gap role. So when we're looking at a guy like what we're going to look at today, when we're talking about this, we're talking about a guy that can get up, absorb contact, and go through and gain a yard or two. Cameron Jordan gets an arm on him. Oh, you're going to need more than an arm to take down Hyde. What we call contact balance, okay? So, as I break down the film of Carlos Hyde, this is what I see. Arm tackles. You try to arm tackle this kid, he's going to run through your arm tackles.
We'll start with Carlos Hyde, who gets off a good run.
There were a few games last year where I thought the Eagles needed to get physical with their opponents, and they did it quite successfully, running behind the shoulder pads of Jordan Howard. The first game was the Green Bay game. The next game was that game, simply put, that was in Buffalo. The game after that was Chicago. I thought those 3 games in particular, we really relied on a physical running game. And one of the plays I thought I saw the Eagles do quite often with Jordan Howard, that I do think that Carlos Hyde is a good fit to run and operate behind, is that just simple, like, kind of running back draw play where it's on a first down. You're looking to gain, 3-4 yards off that handoff and set yourself up for a pretty favorable second down.
Now the first down is Hyde.
Look, this is not a play that you're going to run every single first down. It's not the Eagles' MO. But when you're trying to get physical, it helps to have a guy like Carlos Hyde who can give you the presence of physicality, especially when you're down around the goal line, where you're on short distances, and also when you're trying to close out a football game. Also, I know we got guys in here like Miles Sanders. I know we have Boston Scott. We have Jalen Hurts that's going to run the ball a little bit. Having a guy like Hyde come in here just adds another element to it and makes you, especially on short downs and goal lines, if you've got, Sanders in the game with Hyde and you've got Jalen Hurts in the game somewhere, or you got, take Miles Sanders off because you don't want him to get injured. You got Hyde, you got Boston Scott, and you got Jalen Hurts. You got some versatility or goal line offense there, guys. So, I definitely can see the fit here. I think that Carlos Hyde makes sense in some ways here, guys.
Athletic play from Fuller.
If I'm going to be fair, I will say this. In past seasons, the one thing that always annoyed me about Carlos Hyde, it was simply put, he had a fumbling problem for a while. But I'll say this. Last year, he was a 1,000-yard rusher, had several attempts. He only fumbled the ball twice that I could see. He only lost 2 fumbles. So it doesn't look like that plagued him last year. But I do know that is in his past, guys. And I would be disingenuous if I didn't say that as we're evaluating whether or not this kid is a good fit for the Philadelphia Eagles. That would be very disingenuous of myself to do that. Now, here's what I'll say, guys. I think this kid's a fit. When Philly was really good in 2017, the one thing we had was the ability to get physical. I thought the Eagles had that ability last year, too, when Jordan Howard was in the game. But when Jordan Howard ended up getting that nerve damage to his shoulder, it just messed everything up. I guess my question would be is to those of you guys who are just not really big fans of this move. Why? What is it in particular, okay? Look, I know everyone has their own opinions on things, guys. But what is it in particular about Carlos Hyde that makes you so adamantly against getting him? Is it just the fact that, look, there's nothing personal against Carlos Hyde? You think he's a good football player? You think he's definitely better right now than, guys like, Elijah Holyfield and Michael Warren? But you feel those two guys should get an opportunity, or, even though they're not quite as good as Carlos Hyde, that they might be down the road, and you got them on rookie contracts, undrafted, rookie contracts at that. I could see some merit to that type of thought process, but still, wouldn't it benefit you to bring in a veteran? Try to, look, running back contracts are not that expensive. A guy like Carlos Hyde's not going to cost you that kind of money. So you bring in, to me, it just seems like it's a no-brainer to bring in a guy like Carlos Hyde to compete, just in case Warren and Elijah Holyfield aren't ready and you got to put them on the practice squad. At least you got a veteran come in and be a contact balance back, in my opinion. If the kids beat him out, I'm not married to the concept, the idea of him playing in Philadelphia. Like, hey, it is what it is. I don't get it, guys. I mean, is it his age? Because I mean, yeah, he'll be 30. I think he'll turn 30 during the course of the season. But with that said, like for a 30-year-old, and I get when you're talking about running backs, it gets a little tricky. But he hasn't played that often, guys. I mean, it's not like he's 30 years old with 8 seasons of really high rushing attempts and productivity on his track record. So I mean, I still feel like this kid's got another year or two in him quite easily because he hasn't been utilized like that. I mean, what is it, guys? What is it in particular about this particular player that makes you feel uneasy about signing this individual? Let me know your thoughts below. For you guys that you're not on that side of the things, you really do like Carlos Hyde. All right, I guess I could ask the inverse to you guys. Tell me what it is about Carlos Hyde you like. What do you think he's going to do for the offense that makes this worth going in for? All right, Joe, you already know it. I want to know your thoughts. All right, guys, you know how we end these videos. We do a little something like EAGLES. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, guys, I like the kid, but let me know your thoughts.